Happy Bitcoin white paper day. I am recording this on October 31st. It's incredible to think about what all has changed and unfolded over those years. And one huge development, of course, is in the way that we can secure our Bitcoin with the advent of hardware wallets, and those hardware wallets have become better and better over time. And today I'm going to be going through the OneKey hardware wallet with its accompanying companion app, which is available on both desktop and mobile. Without further ado, let's jump in. I'm excited to share my company Joltz has partnered up with ThunderFunder to democratize investing in awesome Bitcoin startups. Now live on thunderfunder.com, where anyone can invest and own a real piece of Joltz. This video is made possible by Bitcoin Trading Cards, and I am pumped to have them as the first sponsor on my channel. I met Aladdin and the team back at Pacific Bitcoin 2022, and I'm not gonna lie, at the time I thought, okay, cool, a quirky little Bitcoin project, but little could I have imagined at the time how this project would capture imaginations. I've personally used these to orange pill people that I care about in my life. The art is stunning and features Bitcoin artists all around the world. You get high quality Bitcoin education on topics like economics and freedom as part of that, which makes this, as you can imagine, a really special project for me. And I'm not gonna lie, it makes you want to collect these. The community behind this is also truly insane. And I think they have a real shot at bringing Bitcoin to the mainstream. So if you're curious to check them out, head over to btc-tc.com, where you can find the different series they've launched. And hey, if you do end up snagging some cards, you'll also get some Bitcoin rewards back on your purchase, powered by Joltz. Here's to ripping packs and stacking sats. So I had the pleasure of meeting some of the folks from the OneKey team in Singapore, and I was pretty impressed at what they've built. I think OneKey is a good example of a very popular brand in geographies like Asia. I mean, they have users all over the world, but you just don't hear them as often as you do like Cold Card and, you know, these sorts of options, you know, perhaps more in the US, Canada, UK, those types of geographies, which I know most of you watching are in, but I was pretty impressed with what they've built. So OneKey is a fully open source hardware wallet. It has an EAL 6+ secure element. It's kind of best in class secure element separate from its microprocessor. They have their own companion app, which is nice and convenient to have. That companion app is supported across both desktop and mobile. They have an APK file if you want to do the Android, you know, privately, all that sort of stuff. And what I was very intrigued by and impressed by is that the companion app actually has a Lightning Network integration built in. So you can have, you know, your one interface where you have your connected hardware wallet, maybe of your, you know, savings account, and then you can also have your Lightning account, which is very, very cool and unique. Now, a couple notes, particularly as I know my audience, right? They do not appear to have Bitcoin only firmware, which is the case for things like Keystone, Trezor. So for those of you that, you know, don't want any other crypto assets to even be in sight, right? You can obviously manage your list and only have Bitcoin, but do be aware of that. And then also in terms of using OneKey as a multi-sig signer, you can do that today using Electrum Wallet. So your OneKey can be connected to Electrum Wallet as a sort of multi-sig coordinator. I won't be going into that today. And it does look like they are building in perhaps more native Bitcoin multi-sig support. And from a price point standpoint, it's honestly pretty good. So what I'll be going through today is their Classic, which at a price point of $99 is quite competitive. They then also have their OneKey Pro device for $278. It's got a big kind of color touchscreen. It's got camera for air gap signing, fingerprint functionality, kind of all the bells and whistles. So two different models depending on your needs. And furthermore, it appears that they are running a 15% off offer. If you reference their Twitter account here, it looks like that is through November 11th. So with all that out of the way, let's jump into a tutorial. Okay, so where we are going to start is actually first with the app, the companion app. And to do that, I am at onekey.so/download. Very important, be sure you are in the right location. And in my case, I will do the Windows download. So that is now downloaded. And for those of you that watch this channel for some time, you know that wherever possible, I will always recommend verifying what you're downloading from the internet. And as it turns out, OneKey does have this helpful documentation on how to verify OneKey app packages. Those that might be new to this process, I recently did a video on the Dark Skippy thread and sort of went through why verifying, in that case, firmware, or in this case, the companion app, which will then be a conduit through which we do the firmware updates, is a really important step to get into the habit of doing, even though it does feel a little bit clunky. Now, if you want to skip ahead to the rest of the tutorial, by all means, I will flash up the timestamp on the screen here, but then we will first proceed with the verification of the download, but feel free to skip ahead if you'd like. And so they have tutorials here for Mac OS, operating systems, Windows, Linux, as well as their Android APK file on the mobile app side. As we can see, depending on your operating system, we have downloaded the Windows installation package. We can then also go to this GitHub page. And so for this latest 5.3.0 version, which as we can see, that is indeed what I have installed. Here is the Windows installer 5.3.0. I want to come down and grab... show all 15 assets. I want to grab this SHA-256 sums file with the .asc at the end. I just click that, it'll download. And then coming back to the instructions here, we can see we'll just run this in a command prompt. You can just search for your command prompt. Okay, and so what we can do first is actually the command cd downloads. All that does is it points this command prompt to your downloads folder. And then we just want this file name that we can copy. And we will say cert util hash file .exe that we will append to that. And then SHA-256 is the type of hashing function we want to run. So we're saying, hey, run this hashing function on this software. And we get a long alphanumeric string. And then what we can do is open this with, let's say, Notepad. And we can compare and contrast. You can see some of the past verifications I've done on other things. We want this guy that I'm highlighting. And if we compare, we can indeed see that those hash values are exactly the same. So this is good. This means that what we have downloaded is what we think it is. The second step is to verify that it is from who we think it is. And so step 2 of this process, we'll come back to the instructions. As it notes, if you're on Windows, you haven't downloaded these GPG tools before, you can go to gpg4win.org or use this link here. Okay, and then we can basically run this command once you have that, and we will pop that in to our command prompt here and run it. Okay, and so as we can see, we've basically imported this public key that is associated with OneKey HQ developer dev at onekey.so. So that is good. That is who we expect this public key is. And so the final task is to ensure the signatures that have been provided are in fact from this key. And so to do that, we can just run this final command, gpg verify. Oh, that's pretty funny. I was like, who on earth is this? This is from an old video I did on Nunchuck. Okay, so let's try that again. Okay, so there we go. So do be advised, if you've done this with other software in the past, a lot of times they will also just name it, SHA-256 some.asc. In any case, once we got the right name, we can indeed see that we have a good signature from OneKey HQ developer. So that is good. So what we've done is we've verified that software here that we've downloaded is in fact what we think it is and from who we think it is. So with that, we are now safe to install it. Of course, Windows is going to throw this. We'll say run anyway. Okay, so we've completed the installation. Let's go ahead and run the app. Okay, so here we are. We have downloaded and verified the OneKey Wallet app. Again, I'm doing this on desktop just because it's a little bit easier for me to kind of film everything, but you can download this on mobile as well. And so, of course, in our case, we are going to connect the hardware wallet, but first we need to get that set up. So we'll leave the OneKey app here for a moment and get the hardware wallet set up. Okay, so here we've got the OneKey Classic. I know the camera angle here isn't the greatest that's ever been achieved, but let's forge ahead nonetheless. So I'll get the plastic wrapping off, which will allow us to open it as such. We've got some different items there, and then we've got the sort of start packet. And we can see, you know, a link to download the OneKey app, which we've already done, different features, get started guide. Obviously, I'm taking you through it, and so on and so forth. Then we've got the device itself, and, you know, has this seal that you want to make sure it's intact. If it's not, it means it's potentially been tampered with. But there we go. That thing is pretty clean. Take the little screen protector off. So there you go. It's almost like a really thin, old school little like iPod. You have the couple buttons. I know it's probably hard to see on the screen. You've got the power button up and down, and presumably the little selector button at the end. You then have the port at the bottom where you will plug it in. And so we'll connect this up. It also arms you with this recovery sheet, so that you can write down your seed phrase. And I'm going to hit the power button for the first time. It is powering on. I will select my language, which is English, and it says, welcome to OneKey. And so it's giving you instructions, you know, press the button on the right to continue. Next, follow the on-screen instructions to set up your OneKey Classic. And so in this case, we want to create a new wallet. This is going to create a new seed phrase and store that on the secure element on this device from which that private key will never leave. And so let's go ahead and hit create new wallet. And it says generating a standard wallet with a new set of recovery phrase. That is what we want. We can elect to have 12, 18, or 24 words. Fun fact, mathematically, 24 is basically the same as 12. Although there are certain threat scenarios, such as the dark skippy attacks, by which the longer seed phrase is actually slightly better. So, you know, I'll do 24 just for purposes here. Okay, and so it says next screen will display the 24 words called the recovery phrase. Write it down. And so it's going to give us our words. I'm going to write them down and be right back. Okay, so it will quiz you after you write down your seed phrase. Make sure you wrote it down correctly, and then you'll get awesome, your backup is complete. So it says almost done. Recovery phrase is the only way to recover your assets, so keep it in a safe place. And then we're going to set a PIN to further protect this device, right? So if someone were to get their hands on it, they would need your PIN in order to get in. So I'm going to set a new PIN and be right back. By the way, if you are newer to Bitcoin and you want more detail on how all these backups work, how your seed phrase is derived from a private key and all of that, check out my video that I have done on exactly those topics. Okay, our PIN is set successfully. We've got our seed phrase created and written down securely. Congratulations, wallet is ready. Download the OneKey app and have fun. And so it gives us the download prompt, support, OneKey Classic is set up. It will go back to the home screen. And so we are now ready to rock and roll. On the home screen, you can see the name of the device. You can see your battery. You can hit this arrow and go to some of the different settings. So for example, there's these general settings where you can enable or disable Bluetooth, change your language, auto lock, shut down the device. USB lock is very nice. You have security settings where you can either change the PIN. This is where you can also double check your recovery phrase. You can add an optional passphrase. We're not going to do that today. You can reset the device. Okay, so we're coming back to the desktop app here, and we're going to say connect hardware wallet. Okay, and we can see that it has identified my device, and it's important that that K1531 matches up, and indeed it does on the device, so I will click this. Okay, and so what it's going to present, again, this may be tough to see, it has these dots on the screen, and it has the numbers displayed on your device. So I'm obviously going to put in the PIN code that corresponds to the PIN code I've set on the device to ensure that I'm connecting this up correctly. Okay, so I've got my PIN in. I'll hit confirm, presenting me with this additional authenticity check. And so we will go ahead and confirm that. And it says verification successful. Your device is officially verified. You're all set. Let's continue. Okay, so you will see at the top if there's a prompt for like updates, right? You can check updates here as well. It says OneKey app itself is already up to date, and then it'll prompt you if there is a new firmware release. You can also check on the device by going to About Device and Device Info, and then scrolling down, and it turns out I am on the latest here. Where 3.10.0, so you will get a prompt when there is new fresh firmware to install at the top. There's this new kind of Bluetooth version. I don't think we worry too much about that now, but let's go ahead and clean this up so we can manage our assets here. We can just delete all this. Okay, and it is refreshing. Oh yeah, and refreshing indeed. Okay. So now we can do a number of things, right? You can buy this. They have a partner called OnRamper. So you could buy, even with like a debit card, I'm sure they'll do KYC and stuff, but you can buy Bitcoin. That's really nice. And then we have our classic send and receive options. So if we go to the receive tab, we'll select Bitcoin. Let's do native SegWit just to be safe. Not everything supports taps just yet. And it's nice they have this built directly into the flow. This is a helpful step where you can verify the address and confirm that your device itself is also replicating the same thing. That just makes sure that the pairing process was successful. So we can say verify on device. And indeed, you can see that the address there, now that's probably hard to see, but that does indeed match up to what is displaying on the screen. A good little check to do. And now we can copy this address. I'm going to come over to my LB Hub. I just did a video on this if you're curious about hosting your very own Lightning node. And as with any Lightning node, you have an on-chain balance here as well. I think you can get to withdraw savings balance here. So for our demonstration purposes today, let's just do 50,000 sats. I'm going to paste in the on-chain address from OneKey. So I'm saying I want to send 50,000 sats to this address. Let's go ahead and withdraw, confirm. And so we can view this on the mempool. And we can see that this may take a little bit of time, so we'll let this complete. And if you refresh the balance, we do now see that pending balance. So we will wait for that to confirm to demonstrate how to send value out of your OneKey. But in the meantime, I did want to also spotlight, if you go to all networks, they have this Lightning Network option, which is really cool to have that built directly into this. Now, I'm assuming this is a custodial solution, but I will try and edit that in if that's not the case. But again, just let's see how it works. So we'll say create address. Interesting that it's checking the device. I don't know what it's checking that for. Oh, I guess it's giving me this kind of message to sign. Do you want to sign this Bitcoin message with my keys? I do. Okay, so that is at least cool. It is connected in some way, shape, or form to your device. And so let's receive some value and see if this works. And so let's just say, I don't know, 1,000 sats. And we're going to create an invoice. For those of you not familiar with the Lightning Network, I have a whole playlist and intro video on how the Lightning Network works. But here is now a Lightning invoice. So I could scan this with any number of wallets, or I'll just copy this guy. And back on my LB Hub, again, this is just a Lightning wallet connected to my Lightning node. I will send and I will send that by pasting in this invoice. 1,000 sats, indeed. OneKey invoice, confirm payment. Okay, payment successful. And indeed, there we go. So I've got my 1,000 sats. So that does work. That is pretty cool to see Lightning integrated into one of these companion apps. And so now let's send that value out, demonstrate how that works. What's really cool is it looks like they've actually integrated Lightning addresses, which would be very interesting. They also have LN URL support as well. So what you could do, you'd come, back to your Lightning wallet. In this case, I'm using Albi. I say receive, maybe like 900 sats, whatever. Here's that invoice for that. Or alternatively, I have my Lightning address, which is just ragermajor@getalbi.com. And indeed, it's seemingly accepted that. Okay, fine. Let's just do like, I don't know, 900 sats or whatever. Checking device. Okay, I guess it has you approve sends as well. That's kind of interesting. So I am signing that. Okay, and so there you go. So I've sent value out, and I can see that payment received. So there you go. If you're new to Lightning, that is the power of Lightning, right? Instantaneous Bitcoin payments. And this Albi Lightning wallet, this is non-custodial, right? This is all my keys, my node, everything. So that's pretty cool. I'm impressed at OneKey's Lightning integration, particularly the support for Lightning addresses. But there you go. So that's a demonstration of how to use the Lightning piece. So I'm assuming that behind the scenes, this is still like an account with OneKey's Lightning node. And if I come back to all networks, I have my little Lightning value there. So let's go ahead and wait for this Bitcoin balance to confirm, and we will be right back. Okay. So I got a little impatient. I think the fee I attached to that first on-chain transaction was not quite high enough. So it's just sort of chilling in the mempool. But I sent another transaction, as you can see here, which has been received and confirmed on-chain. And so we can go ahead and now demonstrate how to send that value out. So if I hit the send button, I go to my Bitcoin. And what I'm going to do is I've come back to my Albi wallet, and I'm just going to grab a address from my on-chain wallet here. So again, any normal Bitcoin address, I'll come over and paste that in. Now, very interestingly, it looks like I can technically do the whole amount, which would be strange to me because I don't think that first transaction has yet cleared, but I guess we'll figure out. And we can see where we're sending it from and to. We'll confirm. And so now it says checking device. And as we can see, it is the amount we expect less the fees. We're sending it to that address. Double check and make sure that is the right one. And it is. There's the fee. And we do want to sign this Bitcoin transaction. Okay. And so that transaction has been submitted, seemingly, for the full amount. Not really sure how that works. You can see our balance has now updated to just the few sats that we have in our little Lightning Network account here. But there you go. So we took a look at receiving and sending both on-chain and for the Lightning Network. And so again, for those of you that are newer to the idea of a hardware wallet, what has just happened there is that we've used the OneKey app to construct a transaction. We have then gone to the hardware wallet to provide a valid signature from our private keys that remain on that hardware wallet. Once that signature has been applied, we can then use the OneKey app to broadcast that to the network. So that is what's happening behind the hood. With all that, let's go ahead and conclude today's video. All right, so there you have it. Today we took a look at the OneKey Classic hardware wallet paired up with their desktop companion app. And I must say, it was a nice experience. I think the onboarding process is quite good. particularly for their classic model. That $99 price point is quite competitive when you look at what else is out there, particularly given that it comes with this nice companion app that also has the Lightning integration. So lots of cool stuff. But I'm curious to hear, what are your thoughts? What do you think of the OneKey? Have you used it before? Are there other hardware wallets you would like to see reviewed on the channel? Let me know in the comments down below. But I hope you found this valuable and insightful. If you did, you already know what to do. Give this video a like. Use the share button underneath this video. That really does help get this to a broader audience. And if you were so enamored with this content, you want to donate to a pleb, which really does help me continue to make these videos, you can do so in a number of ways. There's the YouTube Super Thanks built directly into YouTube. Or my preference, you can zip some sats over the Lightning Network to my Lightning address, ragermajor@getalby.com. And for those of you that want to get in touch with me, I'm now working with a number of clients one-on-one on all sorts of different topics, from taking self-custody, setting up a multi-sig, running your own Bitcoin node, Bitcoin privacy best practices, and more. You can reach out to me at vita.io/IanMajor. But for now, we'll go ahead and leave this here. As a reminder, every sat counts. And until next time, my friends, I'll see you then.